Hi everyone. This is my first listen in the series of the history of rock music with Amy and Karl. And as you saw and heard in the introduction, we're finally getting started on this project. It's been a long time in the works, and I'm eager to dive in. This song, the first assignment from Karl, is called Cold Shot by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it was recorded in 1984. And he told me that his reason for choosing this as my first listen is because he feels like it is a very good example of the blues style, which he's going to be talking more about it. We'll be talking about it together. But blues had a big impact on the development of rock music overall. And I'm eager to find out more about how it influenced and what it influenced. I've heard elements of it in some of the music I've listened to, and I'm curious to see how that development happened and why and when and where. So, this song, Cold Shot, is going to be my first listen. And let's see what I find here. It is very much blues.
Once was a sweet bang man.
Even the voice.
Now I see you out somewhere. Don't give me the time of day, but that's a cold shot, baby. Yeah, that's a drive. That's a cold shot, sugar. We better love you back. Yes, we have. Remember the way that you loved me. You anything I say. Now I reach to kiss your lips. Touch don't mean a thing, but that's a cold shot, baby. Yeah, that's a drag. That's a cold shot, baby. We better love your back. This one is tell you about me.
Don't you just love the way in the blues style it just moves and sways and it's, of course, we talk about swung rhythms and bent notes and all of those things, but if I were going to sum it up all in one word, I might say it's squishy. It feels like you can squish it and bend it and shape it, and then it springs back, and so you can move it again. And that's always how I've thought of blues in general. I haven't spent a lot of time with blues, and in fact, it's been quite a while since I spent time with blues music. So this is bringing back some memories of things I studied and things I listened to, and then, of course, how on earth does anybody come up with the idea that you can just mash down on that organ? Okay, maybe they were a little more intentional than that. But it just sounds like they just smashed onto the keys, and yet it fits so perfectly into the music. Let's back up and listen to that little organ moment for a second.
What is tell you about me?
there. A bit crazy here. Have to notice that bass line there. I love these solo sections in this style of music where it feels like such a conversation. I remember something that one of my teachers told me when I was trying to wrap my head around this kind of blues music and also jazz. Jazz was his specialty, but, you know, he knew the blues as well. And I remember one day he told me, he said, think about it like language. Because I was so used to having grown up in this environment of hearing older classical music, Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, all the big names, some lesser known names as well, always very finely constructed compositions. And then as I was studying music, I was faced with this sort of stuff, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. And the theory concepts are different. The treatment of harmonies and rhythms is so different. And it was so hard for me to understand at first. And one day he said, just think about it like language, like a conversation. He said, you know how there are different accents in different parts of the United States. And the way people talk, the way their cadence is as they speak, changes from region to region. And he said, you hear that in the music too. And suddenly, something about that explanation just turned the switch on for me. And I was suddenly able to understand, okay, it's not just this disorganized cacophony of sound. It's like a group of people coming together and having fun talking. But it's not a planned formal conversation. It's a fun dynamic, but everybody is listening to each other as well, and they know when it's their turn to step forward and say something. And maybe the others continue to talk in the background, but it's a very conversational style. And I just remember that moment, and I wanted to share it with you because I still, when I listen to this music, I go back to that moment. That was the key for me to be able to unlock this kind of music and appreciate it for its own artistry. So, all right, we're going on. We're probably coming to the end of a solo here, although it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Everyone takes turns, and then eventually we come back around to where things get a bit more organized again. Maybe I shouldn't say more organized. Back to familiar territory. say just meditate on a thought for a moment. Turn it over, look at it from different angles. Try out this idea. The organ comes in and says something, answering back and forth. And the percussion keeps the conversation going. Somebody tells a joke. It's gotta have some humor in it. Laughing a bit. Emphasizing a point. Intensifying. Kind of all in agreement about something, and it's something that's really important to everybody here.
I was sorry forever causing
Here's
you
the
pain.
voice.
You showed your appreciation by walking out anyway. And that's a cold shot, baby. Yeah, that's a joy. That's a cold shot, baby. We gotta love you back. Cool shot, baby. Cool shots.
Everybody's kind of agreeing with the singer here.
Cool shot. Cool shot, baby. Cool shot, dog. Cool shot, baby.
And all his friends are like, yeah, we agree. We'll stick with it.
It's crazy to hear.
They always take their time ending these songs. That was nice. That was nice. It's been a long time, as I said, since I sat down and intentionally listened to a piece of blues music, and it was nice. I enjoyed it. And I'm very curious to see how this takes us into the next steps forward in the development of rock music, because obviously this is not rock. This is very clearly, identifiably blues. And I know a bit of the history about blues and where it came from, how it developed, and it has continued on in many different forms and influenced multiple different genres of music. So I'm looking forward to my conversation with Karl about it. I have one more song I'm supposed to listen to before that conversation, so let's hear that next.